What's up, guys? Welcome to another episode.
Put it down first.
I thought you did.
No, I was like this.
Welcome, guys, to another episode.
I was like it again because that was the demonstration.
Could we not do this tonight?
You may begin.
We can't not do it. What's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of Pursuit. That's all I got. We're gonna do. I guess this is a personality quiz.
I think so.
It's
It's called "Which Silly Goose Are You?"
Yeah.
Some might say that I'm the silliest of gooses, but others may not. You know what I mean?
No.
We're about to find out.
All right.
So the first question is favorite pet. The options are dog, cat, chicken, reptile, fish, or none.
I've only ever had fish or birds as pets, so I'm gonna go with fish. Cats also freak me out.
Oh, I was just picking what I would assume would be my favorite, honestly.
I mean,
Is it a reptile or something?
Guess you'll never know.
I would pick dogs, but then you gotta walk them regularly whenever.
Yeah.
You just have to get a lazy dog. They got
Like
a very
Milo.
hyperactive dog.
Like
Maybe.
Milo.
Maybe. But also, he's so sweet.
Yeah, but you can
Anyway.
get a sweet
Favorite
lazy dog.
movie?
I was gonna ask AV.
Oh.
Wow, she comes on stage and forgets about them.
All right, AV. Favorite pet.
Cat for me.
Dog.
Favorite movie.
Who's Steven Spielberg?
She what?
What?
Girl, what?
What movie did he make?
All of that.
I don't know what.
And now you can leave. The door.
What
the
movie?
door, sir.
What movie?
I don't know what I meant. Anyway, favorite movie.
She said who's Steven Spielberg?
Oh. Any Steven Spielberg movie, Suicide Squad, After Sun, Pirates of the Caribbean? How do you say it? Caribbean or Caribbean?
Pirates of the Caribbean.
I say, excuse me,
But
Caribbean.
I say Caribbean for
Pirates of
everything
the
else.
Caribbean.
I would say Pirates of the Caribbean, but like when I speak about other things, it's Pirates. Oh, it's Caribbean. What
So
about you?
Steven Spielberg did
How do you
Jaws,
say it, Kevin?
Jurassic Park, E.T., Indiana Jones.
E.T. Go home.
I feel like
Masha.
those are
Did you do
probably
Pulp
the biggest
Fiction?
ones.
Who did Pulp Fiction?
No, that's
Tarantino.
Yeah.
What's
I was
After
gonna say
Sun?
dude- I was gonna say a dude that says the N-word all the time. Yeah.
Oh, Shrek.
All the movies I listed.
Picked it up.
All the movies I listed, and
I haven't seen any of those.
What? Any of them?
hold on, wait.
Run that back.
Okay, you haven't seen Jaws.
With the shark?
The shark.
Yeah, I think
Da-na.
okay.
Dun.
Yeah.
He also did Schindler's List, but I honestly haven't seen that. So, Jurassic Park, the original
I don't think
one.
I've seen any of them.
I may have seen the
Like bits and
very
pieces, but
first one like a long time ago.
E.T.,
Nah.
You haven't seen E.T.? Asha,
any of the Indiana Jones movies. Well, I feel like this is the wrong crowd for Indiana Jones.
I've seen those.
why? We've watched them.
Yeah, why would that be the wrong crowd?
Yeah, what's wrong?
Anyway,
Ready Player One.
We're still doing this?
I'm gonna do Pirates of the Caribbean.
Too hard, brain broken. I'm gonna pick Suicide Squad, actually.
Ooh.
This is like, why is it like an actual, like 3 actual movies and
Yeah.
then just any Steven Spielberg movie?
Moving on. How much sleep do you get? None, a reasonable amount. I'm in bed at a reasonable hour but can't sleep, or this is too personal, man. Kevin's gonna say none.
I am. I really am.
I'd say a reasonable amount.
I'm in bed at a reasonable hour but can't sleep. That's me.
I love sleep, man.
I get a reasonable amount, and then I get to wake up to lovely conversations from y'all.
Same.
A reasonable amount. Yeah, but I should be up at like 2, 3 o'clock in the morning sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes you're up too.
Sometimes.
Jeez.
Ariana, what are you doing?
What are you
here?
doing? Which Survivor team would you be on? Beauty, Brains, or Brawn? I've never watched Survivor.
Is Braun like The guys.
Sean.
I feel like Braun is like muscles.
I'm gonna
I feel
say
like you think
brains,
very,
but I've
very
never
differently
seen
of
it.
yourself.
No, wait. That I identify as, or the team I want to be on?
What could you actually realistically see
Oh.
yourself on?
Oh.
Why was she so disappointed?
You'll never know.
Let's say brains. I don't know what. I don't know what. Excuse me. I don't know what the specs are for each team.
I just went with brains.
Same.
I went with brains.
Let's make fate decide. No, okay, yay, it's over. It's all an algorithm. Throws computer. What? It's an
The-
algorithm.
Did we
Yeah,
pray
the
about
fact
it?
that this makes me want to just say that it's an algorithm.
Did we pray about it?
We didn't pray about it. Everyone done?
Yeah.
Woo!
This was so underwhelming.
Oh, results. I got
Wait.
I got Milo, the financially stable goose. You're a STEM guy or girl who willingly hangs out with art majors. You're quiet in large groups, but always like spilling the tea. Huh.
I got the same thing.
Why did you name yourself that?
Oh, are you guys not seeing the name?
Yeah, I told you before we couldn't see it.
I can't.
I got Leo, the quippiest goose. You respond to silly situations and make them even sillier.
You do.
If you had a title in your friend group, it would probably be vibe management. Yeah, that's actually true. Why did you name yourself Lord Voldemort?
What'd you get?
Remy got Silas.
I got
most-
Silas.
God.
The most serious goose. You like musical theater, philosophy, and overnight analyzing everything around you.
And Asha.
I got Athena, the sleepiest goose. You probably take on too many things and have a horrible work-life balance, but manage to always have time for being a silly goose. That's kind of accurate.
I feel like this is the most accurate BuzzFeed quiz we've ever taken.
I wouldn't say I have a horrible work-life balance,
Oh, yeah.
but I can be the silliest goose
You always make time to be the silliest goose.
and the sleepiest.
I feel like this is very accurate. Almost scary.
Why is your name Lord Voldemort?
Oh my goodness.
You
So
don't
guys,
like Harry Potter.
today we're talking about our phones. So, let's see. When did you guys, or do you guys remember when you first got your own personal computer, or even just a personal computer in the house, even if it was like a shared one?
If it's shared, how is it personal?
Because technically a PC is a personal computer, so
Oh.
even if it's shared, it's still technically a
Oh.
personal computer.
Yeah, and it had to be in the living room.
Mm-hmm.
Ours was in like the front porch room. How old was I? I feel like it was maybe elementary school.
It was probably like 7. Yeah.
I would
I
say
don't
closer,
know.
probably like maybe 9, 10-ish.
Yeah, I think I was about 9 or 10 when I got one. Yeah, I think so. Do you guys remember what kind of computer it was?
Window. It was Windows. We weren't gonna have a Mac. I think it was like a Dell.
Yeah, mine was white. It was Dell. It had the big back. The mouse was
Do
white.
you remember if it was like Windows XP or anything like that?
I don't think it was XP. Not at first.
Was it like Windows Me Millennium Edition?
Probably.
That was literally what it was called.
Which one comes on the CD?
They all came
They
on
all
CDs.
So that one.
All of them. She had all
I
of
had
them.
Windows
I actually
97.
did. We upgraded very much.
Actually, no. So the microphone was before that. Before it was 10 then, because I'm pretty sure we had Windows 95.
Oh, I had that.
Yeah, I feel like I had a number. Like
Yeah.
2000. Was there like
You guys
There
remember
was
the
a
little
2000.
flags? The little
Yeah.
colors? Yeah.
That was Windows.
Yeah, the logo.
Okay, and I'm describing the
not
colors.
flags.
Oh my goodness.
It's the window.
Oh.
That's what I'm saying.
All of the seaweed settled to the bottom. So now I'm getting. Okay, sorry.
All right. So, from then to now, technology has definitely changed a lot, right?
Absolutely.
Obviously, even just us doing this, not something we would have done back then.
Yeah, for sure.
So technology has changed to the point where it went from having a computer in a common room in the house, which is I think what a lot of parents did at the time, right? It's a shared computer, all that stuff, to now almost everyone, even in like elementary school, middle school, has a smartphone in their pocket,
Mhm.
right? So obviously having a device like this definitely changes the way we interact with the world.
Yep.
For me, and I'm guessing probably most of you guys also, there was a point when in school, if you had to do like a research paper, you actually had to like go to the library, get a book, things
Or
like
like an
that.
encyclopedia type of thing we had
Yeah.
at home.
You had to like use like a book, right? For the most part today, if you need to look up anything, you just can ask Siri or Alexa or any other of the numerous devices listening in at your house.
Spooky.
So, do you think with all these changes to technology, life has gotten better or worse
I think
overall?
Overall,
So I know someone's gonna be like, "Well, depends on how you look at it." So,
That was gonna be me.
I think it's overall. I feel like it's gotten better just because of the advancements we're able to make. But a lot of people obviously are going to use it for evil or use it for their own things anyway.
It makes life a little bit easier, so we're not flipping through an encyclopedia. So time consumption, if you're doing a project, is cut in half because it's so easy at our fingertips.
So, do you think that before going back to the encyclopedia or going to the library, right? To get information, for the most part, you probably had to leave your house to actually get information. Today, you don't even have to like get up. You just have to unlock your phone. And almost anything that you're looking for, you can probably find on the internet. With that ability, how does it affect our faith? Or your faith, rather?
It can affect your faith in a few different ways, right? Because you have such an access of information, you can always look up any questions that you have. But it can also be like a very distracting force, right? Where I could just scroll on any media for however long I choose to. But also, going back to my first point, where you can find answers to any questions, you don't know if you could trust all of those sources online there. Right? So I can find answers. It doesn't mean they're going to be the right answers, but I also won't necessarily know if they are or not, solely based off of whatever media I'm taking in.
Okay. So, with that, I would say, I know originally when we were talking about just whether technology has made life, I guess, overall better or worse, you kind of brought up the fact that there's obviously people who will use technology for evil, right? So I think when we talk about like our phones, our screen, our devices, to me, they're neutral, right? I don't really think there is any type of morality assigned to an iPhone or anything. I do think obviously because these devices are so powerful, I think the morality of the person wielding it comes out very quickly. Have you ever looked at the screen time? I'm assuming Androids have screen time.
Yeah.
Honestly, because I've never heard anyone on
gonna
Android
take
talk
that?
about using it.
You gonna take that?
I don't.
No, I'm not even trying to make a joke. I've just never heard
Yes,
anyone
they
on
do.
Android talk
They
about
do.
using screen time.
I'm
Um,
gonna check mine while we do this.
I've been
Yeah.
learning to pick my battles.
all right. What is your daily average
I don't even want to know.
time?
I'm 33% from last week.
Wow.
Up or down?
Down.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
5
it's only
hours,
Tuesday.
49 minutes.
That's your daily average?
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I don't even. I know. I just don't know where it is.
See all activity.
Oh, this is all devices. Okay. Because right now mine's at 12 hours.
For today.
No, for daily.
Ugh.
Today it's 10 hours. But that's all devices. So if I just go, wow, that made no change going to only my phone. Okay. So my daily average is 12 hours and 34 minutes.
That tracks. What's your most used?
YouTube.
Okay.
Yours?
Instagram followed by Snapchat. Is that for like today though? Or in general?
It says most used.
That's
so-
cap for me.
Oh, I don't know where it is. I don't know how to find it. I've never looked at it on this phone. Let's look.
Real.
Remember she was snapping at me because I was just asking, like, do Androids even have it?
Yeah, they do.
Now it's 4 hours, 55 minutes. This is lying as we do this.
I feel like I've seen it before. I just never remember.
You can Google it for the answer to help you.
Where do I find my screen time? My digital well-being. Duh. I feel like that's very. There we go.
Asha, what's yours while we wait?
And 37 minutes.
I don't want to
Remy?
say it.
4 hours and 37 minutes was Asha's. Mine is 6 hours.
Ooh. What's yours,
All right,
Ariel?
In my defense,
Mm-hmm.
in my defense,
Yeah.
I have like Netflix on my phone like this while I'm at work.
Okay, just give us the hour.
9 hours.
He's 12.
Yeah, but
not
that's his,
bad.
oh, that's your phone and your lap.
No, that's just my
your
phone.
And a chunk of that, the biggest chunk of that is Netflix
Wow.
So
and Google Maps.
all devices, it's 12 hours and 37 minutes. Just my phone, 12 hours and 35 minutes.
wow.
9 hours of that is YouTube.
What are you looking at YouTube for?
I watch a lot of stuff on YouTube, actually.
Like actively watching it or
Um,
background stuff?
I tend to kind of like you, just have it running while I'm doing stuff. Obviously, some of us more than others spend a lot of time on our phone.
Shame on y'all.
Wow.
You want to know? Most of the time I'm on my phone actively is when I'm replying to her.
I believe you. I believe you. That's the only reason I end up opening Instagram because every time a notification,
chat.
I just end up I'm trying to like swipe it away and I just click on it
If you don't want to talk to me, just say that.
Just mute it.
So I don't have to like
because then I
complain.
feel like I'll miss something good though every once in a while, like a really good one comes through. So
There's so much. It's literally just a cup of seaweed right now.
it's so great because I feel like you were really about to. Anyway, all right. So
I hate it here.
with our phones, do we use our phones, our devices, whatever, our screens, to bring us ultimately closer to God, further away from God, or is it just neutral? It doesn't move us any way, shape, or form.
I think it goes on the user itself. I mean, for us and for myself, I use my Bible app. So that's every day I'm using the Bible app. I also use my Spotify for worship music or YouTube or Google. So it depends on the user and how you're using it for your faith, I guess. You can also text someone to share a testimony. You can use it for positive vibes and positive ways, but also there is bad things on the internet that you could also use your phone for that would be a negative impact on yourself.
Are you asking us like how we use it?
Yes, I'm asking you how you
Oh.
use it.
There we go.
I've tried to be more intentional about the way that I do. Because I've said before, I've noticed that like we were talking about it before, like I will literally just scroll, mindlessly scroll. So within the last few weeks, I've tried to be more intentional about how I do use it and trying to be more mindful of the time that I spend actively on my phone. So like I've been looking into new Bible studies. I've been looking into like because like I listen to worship music every day, right? Just because it helps me with my mind. But also there are a lot of different ways that you can use your phone to help build that relationship that you have with God. And then also once your algorithm kind of gets used to certain things, it'll show you more of those things.
Definitely. I think kind of along the same lines of what you guys are saying, like most things where we start to put our mind and our energy into,
Mhm.
that's what we're going to end up building.
Yep.
Right. So if we're putting our time and our energy into our faith, if it's through our phone, then our screen time will kind of reflect that in a sense. Right. So I know Chrissy brought up a point of the fact that there's obviously things on the internet that as believers we should probably stay away from, right? um so one of the things that comes up when we talk about that is like internet filters and things like that. Do you think that's something that we as believers should use, like almost, I don't want to say as a requirement, but kind of along those lines, right? Should we definitely be using it? Should we not? Is it on the person? They have to know themselves, whatever the case may be.
Go ahead.
I think it depends because like if I know that I have a habit of looking up certain things, right? And I know that I shouldn't, I should put a filter on that, right? But also like like are you talking to like us as adults or like to younger
I think both.
people?
Let's go with younger people first.
Of course.
I think that they should definitely
There's
have
like
filters
the
on certain
parental block
things. Yeah.
that you can use. Because even though your child may not, like say TikTok or like social media, your child may not be actively looking at those things because of the algorithm or just the explore page, those things that you don't want a 7-year-old looking at can pop up. So I think in a positive way, those filters are great.
I think also with a lot of kids, they're still figuring out who they are and what their interests are. So I'm not saying to like cut them off from the world at all, but I'm saying that you should be mindful of what it is that they're taking in.
Well, and I think again, that's why they are called filters, right? You are filtering what they're getting, right? Because like even with some of the younger ones here at the church, I'm very surprised sometimes of the things that I hear them say,
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
right? Like one of the girls who's probably in middle school, I heard her saying side eye 3 days before it ever hit my TikTok feed. And like I just heard her saying it and I was like, okay. And then I went on TikTok and heard and I'm like,
Were you just late to
The
side eye?
trend, maybe?
I guess so. I don't know. I spend more time on YouTube.
That's a you problem.
That's yeah.
So, but I was so surprised that like she heard and like it was all she was saying for like so long, and I was just like every other
Yeah.
thing was that
Side
phrase,
eye.
and I was like,
yeah.
okay, but again, it's interesting to see how quickly not just that they're seeing things, but they're using it.
Mhm.
And
Like they're implicating it into their like,
Yeah.
lives and their
It's catchy. Yeah.
so now going now to those that are older, right? And not even like I mean, we can include adults in this, but even like high school, college age, what are the feelings on filters? And I'm really just talking specifically at this point for believers, right? How we are guarding ourselves and how we're mindful on the internet and our devices.
I personally didn't have no filter on my stuff.
Do you wish that you did looking back?
No. So it goes on to the user. I'm not gonna say like, yeah, you should, and I didn't even do it. So
I think it's dependent on the child or like the teenager. Um, that's like a very case by case type of thing
Mhm.
because you also don't want to be that helicopter person that's just constantly monitoring because, like they say, like very strict parents lead to very sneaky kids, right? So you don't want it to be something that they're gonna find loopholes to look up and to find, and then do that on their own and not like you won't even have any idea about it
do you mean
because I
Oh no, keep going.
because I know like if it were my like I don't have kids, especially teenage varieties. So
I love how she had to like make that distinction known right now.
um but like if my child were curious about certain things, I would hope that they would talk to me about it versus finding it somewhere on the internet.
Okay, what were you gonna say?
Was your question as a like parent or as a user?
Do parents not use?
No,
Well, you're
like
talking about
like
teenagers.
a teenager.
So like from a parent's perspective, someone
Yeah.
that has a teenager or
What was your
Either one,
question?
really.
Oh.
Just in general, should we be using it? No, from the perspective of a believer, right? And if our ultimate goal is to get closer to God, should we or should we not be using this?
I think it goes back to the foundation that you've set. Because like if I'm using it for the right reasons, then there's no reason for me to filter things,
Exactly.
right? If I know that, excuse me, if I know that I can get trapped up in worldly things, then maybe I should. But it's all up to how you use what you have at your fingertips. And it's not even like a oh, I'm a weak like person, so I have to do this. It's more so of like a preventative thing, right? Like if I know that I don't know, like if I know like if I know I'm going to spend an hour scrolling when I should only spend 15, I'll put a timer on it,
Mm.
like a lock thing on it.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. Like it doesn't always have to be like a search engine filter or like a incoming content type of thing, but even like a timer or something to be mindful of how you're using things.
Yeah, I mean, I know in the iPhone, the screen time thing, there is like a content filter, and I do have that on. And all I've noticed, there's two things it does. It turns off um, your private browsing or the incognito thing, and then the first time I used it, it blocked the church website, and I could not figure out why. And it drove me crazy for like,
Why did it block the church?
I have no clue. Up till now, I couldn't. I had to make an exception for the church website. So I was like, "What happened?" Okay, but
There's children on it. I don't know.
so yeah, and for me, I had turned on because I was like, I don't want to see certain things, because it doesn't. I mean, it like I'll use Reddit and stuff like that, and I'll look up things on Reddit, and that can be a place where things can pop up very quickly. So even on that, like it will kind of filter things through and things like that. So I'm like, I don't even have to worry about seeing it in that sense. But Romans 12, I'm gonna read it from the NLT for everyone. I'll give you
sure?
a second to find it because I know.
It was right there. Be for real.
And so, dear brothers and sisters, I plead with you to give your bodies to God because of all he has done for you. Let them be a living and holy sacrifice, the kind he will find acceptable. This is truly the way to worship him. Don't copy the behavior and customs of this world, but let God transform you into a new person by changing the way you think. Then you will learn to know God's will for you, which is good and pleasing and perfect. Okay. So obviously, the Bible does not mention technology or the technology that we have today. But the Bible is still the ultimate. The Bible is the Word of God, and it's meant for us to be used today. Even though when it was written, there are certain things that just simply didn't exist. Now, with that, the Bible still has a lot to say about how we use our devices, right? And I think Romans 12 is a really important example, I guess, right? Because it talks about first well, not even first, but one of the things it talks about is let your life be a living and holy sacrifice, the kind that God will find acceptable, right? Using that as like the lens in which we look at our phones, what does that really mean then? For our lives to be living in holy sacrifices that God finds acceptable when it comes to us using our phones or whatever device.
Can you repeat the question? I zoned
So
out.
with the using the lens of Romans 12:1,
Mhm.
let our lives be a living and holy sacrifice that God finds acceptable. What does that mean for us when it comes to using our phones, or our devices, or technology in general?
It means when you're using your phone or technology, you're using it. Does this honor God? Does this glorify Him? I mean, obviously, it doesn't mean you're watching the X-rated sites or things like that. That doesn't honor God. Um, and also, I think it would be like I'm reading back the verse. Don't make I think it means like don't make your screen or like your technology an idol in a way because I think most of the time you get so connected and like addicted to your phone that it becomes an idol. So if you have an idol in your life, how are you spending that time with God? You're giving your attention to that. You're giving your body to that, your mind, your emotions, because whatever you really watch can affect you emotionally as well.
I was gonna also use like the idol analogy because isn't it technically anything that you put above God,
Mm-hmm.
right? An idol.
Yeah.
So if I'm putting my phone and the usage of that over spending time with God, getting to know God, like learning about God, then it becomes an idol in my life. Well, my like devices in general, right? So if I'm gonna lead a life that's what was the exact phrasing?
Uh, let them be a living and holy sacrifice, the kind that God will find acceptable.
Yeah. So if I'm gonna live my life being a sacrifice, right? Essentially, I'm gonna want to do things that would put me in that position, like something that would be worthy of being offered up to God.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, one of the things that I've been thinking about a lot when it comes to the way I've been using my phone and my devices is just if well, one of the things I've been thinking of is if like my nieces were to just look over my shoulder, would I be okay with what they're seeing? Right? Um, Obviously, sometimes a private conversation is a different story, but like in general, right? Am I going to be okay with what they're seeing? Um, because I know there was one time I think I was by the house and I was on TikTok and like something popped up and one of them was like, "Oh, can I call on your phone?" And for them, saying that's just like a formality. They're gonna color on my phone. Um, and she's like already like has half my phone in her hand. I'm like, I don't think you should see what I'm seeing here, right? Now, obviously, I'm older, but I was like, no, I need to do something to change my algorithm here and things like that. Um, so I think it's really important that we do look at what we're doing. Or is it acceptable to God? Because I think often we forget that, especially when it becomes things that we do every day, such as going on Instagram or Snapchat or YouTube or well, I don't know. Well, I don't know how GPS unless you're going someplace bad. But yeah, no. So I think that it's super important that we do that. Then when you look at verse 2, right, it talks about not copying the behavior and customs of this world, but let God transform you into a new person by changing the way you think. Now, how do we feel about this? Because with the uh, popularity of TikTok, the biggest thing about TikTok is trends, right? No other social media app really captures trends the way TikTok does, right? And this verse here says, literally says, do not copy the behavior and customs of this world, right? Don't copy its trends, right? So what do we now say to um, young people who are believers, even believers who are maybe not as mature yet, right? Because I remember when TikTok, like when we came back into the building after like COVID, because that's really when TikTok got popular. I remember seeing a lot of the middle school kids, like when we're waiting in the lobby, putting their phone on the stairs and doing like a TikTok dance, and I'm like, what's going on here?
Not every TikTok dance is wrong,
Okay,
in my opinion. I mean, it goes with the music and like depends on the moves, but I wouldn't say they can't do it, but you have to filter what you're doing and what you're listening to. Now, if it's a song that's cussing every other word or cussing in general, yeah, we're not going to do that. But if it's like a clean enough dance and song,
I think also it goes into not chasing the trend, right? Like that shouldn't be my primary focus of being on social media. I feel like with TikTok and the way that things are set up, you can participate in certain trends because it'll catch attention and it'll lock people into what you're trying to like produce. But I wouldn't say I think once you get into the habit of chasing trends and just trying to figure out what trend is next or what I should do next, then there's not really much value to what it is that you're putting out. Because literally your whole For You page, your whole like algorithm is going to be tailored to that one thing. You're not going to broaden your horizons. You're not going to learn new things. You're not going to like figure out anything new. You're just constantly taking in that one thing over and over again, which I also don't think is healthy. Cuz like I've seen like youth group pages where they'll do certain trends, but it's not like explicit or anything like that.
Right.
It's just a fun thing that's happening. But I think there's also that gray area of where do you draw that line between just like a fun, quirky, like funny thing that you're doing and um like just chasing trends and trying to fit in with the world.
I think with youth groups that do that, in most cases they're not. They're trying to honor God on that platform.
Yeah, it's like you're advertising like
right.
your youth group or your
So,
meetings and stuff like that.
I think in that sense, that's fine.
Yeah.
But now, if we're taking more time of what's gonna get us more views,
Exactly.
that's the problem. So I understand what you're saying.
So
I
like
agree
what
with
trend
that.
should we do next?
Yeah.
Like what's next? What's next? Because although marketing is also very important in terms of like marketing your group and making it like inviting and stuff like that, that shouldn't be the only thing that you're focusing on.
Right.
It should be the products of your ministry and the products of what it is that you're doing that's also attracting people to you. And to God, obviously. So,
To the Lord.
okay. So with all of that said, with using that Romans 12, 1 and 2 as kind of a lens in which we approach our phones and really our lives, right? Are there any practical ways, right, that you want to leave the internet with, of things that we as believers can do to, I guess, one, guard ourselves online, but two, make sure that our devices are ultimately bringing us closer to God and not doing that.
and not doing that. I think it's all about being mindful of what it is that you're doing and how you're doing it, when you're doing it, all of the things. Because if you're not mindful, then you'll fall into the traps of chasing trends and just following what everyone else is doing. But we've said it before, we'll say it again. You're called to be in the world, not of it, right? You're called to be with the people, but not act like them, right? You're called to bring them to God. So I can use my social media and I can use my networking skills in a way that highlights that. But I would also have to put in that extra effort to do that, right? So it's not just looking at what other people are doing and just copying that because, oh, then they'll look at my page and then they'll see what I really stand for, which sometimes works, but it's more often than not that it doesn't.
Use the filters if you feel like you need to.
Yeah. If
Read
you
the
feel like
Bible
you have to have
app.
stricter guidelines for yourself, put them in
Yeah.
place, right? There's no shame in that. There's also like there are also so many different avenues that you could use your phone for. It's a wealth of knowledge at your hands. You just have to use it the right way. If you need help with figuring out how to use it the right way, I'm sure that there are also people that you could talk to figure that out. Because you don't have to figure it out on your own. You might fall into like certain like rabbit holes and all the
Yeah.
things.
And you stop right there and you open up your Bible app and you read a verse there, and it'll just like rein you back in.
Because it also goes back to why are you doing what you're doing?
Yeah,
I think.
let the Lord convict you.
Yeah. Pray about it before you do it.
I think a big thing based on what you guys are saying is just having self-discipline.
Yeah.
Which I guess maybe for some of the younger people might be a little difficult. Which is why you have parents who help kind of rein you in.
Right.
But yeah, I think one of the most important things when you have one of these devices is you have to have the self-discipline to know, hey, this is going to glorify God or it's not. And if it's not, I'm going to stay away from it. And if I'm having trouble staying away from it, then there's a lot of additional technology out there that you can get that will make sure you never see it on your phone or computer or whatever it is. With that said, I got nothing else.
2 Timothy 2:22. I'll leave that with you.
Okay.
What is it?
Run from.
Use your phone to find it.
Yeah, do that.